I think the Raiders drafting Fernando Mendoza #1 overall is a massive mistake. Let's get into it. For some, what I'm about to say might sound controversial, but if you just give me a moment to explain and break it down for you, I think it makes perfect logical sense. And in fact, I think it's the absolute way of the future in the NFL. Let me ask you a few simple questions. #1, do you think Brock Purdy going to the Vegas Raiders right now would make the Raiders a playoff team? I don't think so either. Do you think someone like a Sam Darnold going there would make them a playoff team? Yeah, I didn't think so either. So why do we think that Fernando Mendoza, a rookie quarterback, is going to go there and be all the difference in the world in making them a playoff team? Now, I understand the quarterback in the NFL is the most important position, and if you get the quarterback right, then you have a chance to win in this league. However, I think if you really look at what's going on, the teams that are winning don't just have a really good quarterback, they also have a really good supporting cast. You need both, and the way to fast track your way to a Super Bowl win, much like the Seahawks did years ago, is to have a really good roster and a very inexpensive quarterback on a rookie deal who can come in and produce. See, I think what we're all missing is there's two ways to build a team. #1, draft the quarterback, pay him, and build around him. Or 2, build a great team and find the right quarterback that will fit into that system. I am of the belief that the teams that are doing it right and doing it well are building the team and then plugging in the right quarterback at the right price. When you look at what the Seahawks just did, they went out there and they built up their team. They used Geno Smith because he was good enough, and they built around the team. They built up these players at different positions, making sure they had a good defense, making solid, smart offseason moves. And then when it was time that we need to upgrade a quarterback, what can we do? They found a guy in Sam Darnold who fits in and can fit into that system and can utilize the weapons that they built around. When you look at a Brock Purdy, that 49ers team was built up. They were loaded and ready to go and just needed a quarterback to plug in. And they found a cheap quarterback on a rookie deal who was able to go in there early on and play and succeed. Look at the Buccaneers when they acquired Tom Brady. That team was loaded and they just needed the quarterback to come in and fill that roster spot. I think the Raiders have a unique opportunity to do that because let's be honest, if there's one word we're not going to use to describe Fernando Mendoza, it's special. And when I say special, I mean talent. I mean, he's not a Josh Allen. He's not a Patrick Mahomes who you feel like is raw but has all the talent in the world. He's not even a Caleb Williams in which you say, look, we can't pass up on this because the talent is just undeniable. What you're getting is a very solid player, and at best I think you're going to get a Kirk Cousins. But if you're the Raiders, do you think Kirk Cousins is the difference between you being a playoff team and not, being a Super Bowl contender and not? I don't think so. So in my opinion, what the Raiders need to do is find a trade partner. And I honestly think that the Jets are the perfect option. At #2, they would probably overpay for the opportunity to finally get the quarterback to stabilize that franchise because they believe they are kind of just a quarterback away. And if they can get the right guy to plug in there, they have the pieces around them to fit. If you're the Raiders, your team has a lot of holes, a lot of gaps, and a lot of needs. And I think this is the perfect opportunity. With a guy in a weak quarterback class, you might be able to move off of this, pick up some extra picks, and build that team around, and going into next year, find a much better option. Because I got news for you. The 4th, 5th best quarterback in next year's draft is probably going to be on the same level of a Fernando Mendoza. I mean, in this draft alone, if Dante Moore comes out, there's a conversation. If Arch Manning comes out, Arch Manning is your #1 pick. And we're not talking about Mendoza being the undeniable, clear-cut best quarterback in the draft. It's a very weak quarterback class, but it's very loaded in other positions and very deep. Don't put a rookie Fernando Mendoza who is solid but is not special, put him in the same position and say, we need you to go carry everything, bring us to the promised land. Because you're going to end up like the Jets with Sam Darnold, a quarterback who's not good enough to carry the load, but you also don't want to give him the big second contract, so you got to ship him out of town early and watch him go off somewhere with a better roster and have more success than he had with you. So if I'm the Raiders, instead of making that mistake, I'm looking for a trade partner. I'm looking to drop down in the draft, and ideally you can get a player like a Caleb Downs, which can dramatically improve your defense. You can get an Arvell Reese, which will give some support to Crosby, and you can have a pass rush that is lethal. You can get a guy like a Sonny Styles at linebacker who is supremely talented but also young, and you can mold and can shore up that second line of defense in your defense. You can go out there and get a corner. You can go out there and get an offensive lineman, and you might possibly be able to get a quarterback like Ty Simpson in the top of the second round who has some skills, but you're not really sure what you're getting, but it's a lower investment, a safer option. And quite frankly, coming into the year, Mendoza was not considered a top 5 quarterback prospect. You had a guy like Ty Simpson, who some people would have argued could be the #1 overall pick until he had the down year that he had. If you can get a guy like that who does have talent, who you do think might be able to excel at the next level in the second or possibly third round, and you build up the rest of your team, I think that is a better option, a better way for them to go, and I think the smart move. So if I'm in that spot, I'm looking to move off this #1 pick because I don't think Fernando Mendoza is a clear-cut, can't-miss quarterback, and I don't think he's a difference maker who has the potential to come into your organization and change everything. Great kid, good player, should have a very solid NFL career. I just don't think he's special, and with the #1 pick on a bad team, I need someone who's special. Let me know your comments down below. Am I crazy? Would you do the same? After explaining it a little bit, do you kind of see where I'm coming from? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.